what would you say would be some first steps to kind of work with the kids and provide them maybe ways to motivate themselves? Is that possible that maybe the parents can do that somehow? What could be the part of the parents in there?
I think a few things. I think one is listening, communicating with your kiddo and asking how they're doing and being ready to listen and hear about that, giving them space to talk with friends, etc. And also keeping things moving, right? So if it's getting hard to get to school in the morning because you're not feeling well, parents can really assist with sort of giving you a nudge out the door. And we don't want that to be super coercive or create a lot of conflict. It really should be done in a form of support. But sometimes it can be helpful to have someone help you along to keep moving, because by changing our behavior, sometimes we change our mood. So by engaging with the environment, having new experiences, sometimes that actually helps lift our mood. But I should also say, you can always look up resources for depression online too, right? And it'll give you a list of symptoms.
There are a lot more things, that a kid can do, or that a parent can kind of support their teen to do, which includes keeping a routine. I know like most routines have been disrupted, and with the pandemic, and things change with the pandemic and routines get disrupted again, but keeping a routine is really important, right? The teen doesn't really want to do something, kind of encouraging them to keep doing that is important. Staying physically active can really help to boost mood. So that means, right, taking walks or playing sports, and it can be with friends. So which leads to the other thing, maintaining connections with other people. Right, because early on we're seeing one of the symptoms of depression is somebody starts to withdraw and they lose that support and they're feeling bad, so it's like, that kind of leads to this downward spiral. So just keeping up the connections with family and with friends, that can help a lot. One more thing, actually maybe Dana can say a lot more about this, but maintaining that sleep schedule. So we talked about sleep being disrupted. Some teens with depression or headed towards depression are gonna sleep too much and some too little. And so Dana, why don't you take it up from there?
Oh, you got it. What we know about sleep and depression is that when you're not getting enough sleep, or when your sleep is of a poor quality, it can actually lead to depression. So it's not just a symptom of depression, it actually can predict worsening depression. So we do want to protect that sleep schedule and try to keep its timing nocturnal, right? That you're sleeping at night. I meet a lot of teens who are sleeping all day long and then doing virtual school overnight or something like that. And that just doesn't get you good quality sleep, and it doesn't keep you in a routine that allows you to interact with the rest of society, right? There's certainly online groups and stuff that you can interact with, but in general, we find that's just not enough when you're feeling really depressed. So there can be, again, the downward spiral is kids are really miserable at school, they're not enjoying their social world there or their academic world. Parents then say, okay, well, maybe you could do virtual school. They go into virtual school. Now they see even fewer kids. Their sleep starts to shift. So now they're sleeping really late into the day and having even less interaction. And so that's another typical thing that we tend to observe. And we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. Now, I will also say that sleep is challenging for teenagers, and it's potentially one of the reasons we see a rise in depression, because the biological clock of teenagers shifts, so they want to stay up a little bit later and wake a little bit later, and that's normal biology. And yet, in many of our school systems, school is starting really, really early. So you're having a squeeze in terms of the amount of time you have available for sleep. And that's, if that's a real challenge for any child or family, there are also resources for that, to try to work with a professional and work on sleep.